What if the mountains could speak? What if their ancient secrets held the key to understanding your place in the universe? Deep in the heart of the Himalayas, legends whisper of the Yeti, not just creatures of snow and shadow, but spiritual guardians guiding lamas toward truths that transcend the pages of sacred texts. For those of you just stepping onto the path of Buddhism, curious about its mysteries, have you ever felt a pull toward something greater? Something beyond the everyday. A question that lingers in your heart, waiting to be answered. This is no ordinary tale. It's the story of Tenzin, a young lama whose journey into a hidden valley unveils a wisdom that could light the way for us all. Why do these stories of Yeti and lamas endure? What do they reveal about compassion, awakening, and the unseen threads that connect us to the cosmos? In this video, we'll dive into a Buddhist legend that's never been told like this before. A journey that promises to spark your curiosity and offer insights for your own spiritual path. Whether you're new to Buddhism or seeking deeper meaning, this tale will challenge what you think you know and inspire you to look within. Ready to uncover the truth hidden in the snow? Follow us, hit that subscribe button, and let's embark on this unforgettable journey together. The mountains are calling. Will you answer? The whisper of the snow. In the shadowed folds of the Himalayas, where the wind howls like a chorus of ancient spirits, and the snow falls as if to cloak the world in silence, there exists a tale so vivid, so alive, that it seems to pulse with the very heartbeat of the mountains. It is a story of the Yeti, those elusive giants of the snow, and the lamas who walked the razor's edge between the mortal and the divine, their lives woven into the fabric of a truth deeper than the chasms of the earth. You might feel a shiver of curiosity now, a spark that urges you to lean closer, to let the story unfold, for it promises not just wonder, but a glimpse into the eternal. Can you resist the pull of a mystery that has whispered through the ages, calling to those who seek meaning beyond the veil of the everyday? Long ago, in a time when the stars seemed to burn brighter and the mountains stood as sentinels of wisdom, there lived a young lama named Tenzin, whose heart was as open as the vast Tibetan sky. Tenzin was no ordinary monk. His dreams were haunted by visions of snow-clad peaks and a presence, enormous, shrouded in white, with eyes that held the weight of centuries. These were not mere dreams, he felt, but a summons, a call from something beyond the teachings of the sutras. Each night, as he meditated in his stone-walled chamber, the image of this being grew clearer, its form towering yet gentle, its gaze piercing yet kind. The other lamas spoke of the Yeti in hushed tones, not as beasts but as guardians, spirits of the wild who walked the line between flesh and ether. Tenzin's heart raced at the thought, what if these creatures were not mere legend, but emissaries of a truth he had yet to grasp? The idea lit a fire in him, a restless yearning that made sleep impossible, urging him to seek the unseen. The monastery where Tenzin resided, perched on a cliff like a prayer frozen in stone, was a place where the mundane and the mystical intertwined. The elders taught that the Himalayas were not just mountains, but a living mandala, a sacred map of the cosmos where every peak and valley held a lesson. Tenzin, with his quick mind and insatiable curiosity, devoured these teachings. Yet he sensed there was more, something the texts could not capture, something only the mountains themselves could reveal. One frost-bitten morning, as the first light painted the snow gold, he overheard an elder whisper of a hidden valley, a place where the Yeti were said to gather under the full moon, offering wisdom to those pure of heart. The words struck him like a bell, resonating deep within his soul. Could this be the path he was meant to tread? The thought was intoxicating, a rush of purpose that made his pulse quicken. You can almost feel it now, can't you? That electric thrill of standing on the edge of discovery, knowing that one step could change everything. Tenzin resolved to find this valley, though the journey was fraught with peril. The Himalayas were unforgiving. Blizzards could swallow a man whole, and crevasses lay in wait like silent traps. Yet the call within him was stronger than fear. He prepared in secret, gathering provisions and studying the ancient maps etched on yak hide, their lines faded but alive with possibility. As he set out under a sky heavy with stars, the cold bit at his skin, but his spirit burned brighter. The path wound through jagged passes, past frozen streams that gleamed like veins of crystal, each step a testament to his resolve. The wind seemed to whisper secrets, and at times he thought he saw shadows moving in the distance, too large to be human, too swift to be mere illusion. His heart thumped with a mix of awe and trepidation. Was he being watched? Guided? The uncertainty was a hook, pulling him deeper into the unknown, and you might find yourself wondering too, what lies just beyond the next ridge? Days turned to nights, and Tenzin's journey became a meditation in motion. He chanted mantras to steady his mind, each syllable a thread tying him to the divine. Yet the mountains tested him. A storm descended one evening, its fury like the roar of 1,000 lions, and Tenzin took shelter in a cave, its walls glistening with ice. There, in the flickering light of his butter lamp, he saw it. A footprint, massive, pressed into the frozen earth. His breath caught, his skin prickling with a rush of exhilaration. The Yeti. It was real. The print was not just evidence but a message, a sign that he was on the right path. As he traced its edges with trembling fingers, he felt a surge of connection, as if the creature's essence lingered in the air. The cave seemed to hum with energy, and Tenzin's mind raced with questions. What did it want? What wisdom did it guard? The mystery wrapped around him like a warm cloak, urging him to press on, and you can't help but feel it too, that insatiable need to know what comes next. As Tenzin emerged from the cave, the storm had passed, leaving a world of pristine silence. The moon hung low, casting a silver glow over the peaks, and he felt a shift, a subtle alignment of his spirit with the mountains. He pressed forward, guided by an instinct he could not name, until he reached a narrow pass where the air seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly light. There, at last, was the hidden valley, cradled between cliffs like a secret the earth had kept for millennia. His heart pounded, not from exhaustion but from the sheer weight of anticipation. As he descended, he saw them, figures in the distance, their forms massive yet graceful, moving with a purpose that felt sacred. The Yeti. They were no myth, no fable, but beings of flesh and spirit, their presence a bridge between the seen and the unseen. Tenzin's breath hitched, his soul alight with wonder. What would they reveal? What truths lay in their silent gaze? And here, dear listener, the story pauses. Not because the tale is done, but because the mountains themselves seem to hold their breath, waiting for you to follow. The valley is near, its secrets almost within reach, and Tenzin stands on the cusp of something vast, something that could unravel the very threads of existence. Can you feel the pull, the dopamine-fueled urge to know what happens next? The Yeti wait, the lama's wisdom hovers, and the Himalayas whisper their eternal truths. Stay with me, for the journey has only begun, and the next step promises revelations that will stir your soul. The mirror of the valley. The valley stretched before Tenzin like a canvas painted with moonlight, its silence so profound it seemed to hum with the pulse of the earth itself. His heart thundered, each beat a drumroll of anticipation, as he took his first steps into this hidden sanctuary. The air was crisp, charged with an energy that made his skin tingle, as if the very molecules around him were alive with secrets. The Yeti, those towering figures he had glimpsed, moved in the distance, their silhouettes blending with the snow-draped cliffs. They were not mere creatures, he sensed, but something more. Embodiments of the wild, ancient wisdom that the Himalayas had guarded since time immemorial. Can you feel it now, that electric pull, that urge to step closer to the unknown? The valley beckons, and like Tenzin, you might find it impossible to turn away, caught in the spell of a mystery that promises to unravel the very fabric of existence. Tenzin's breath misted in the cold as he descended, his robes brushing against the snow, each step a quiet prayer. The teachings of his monastery echoed in his mind. All beings are interconnected, bound by the threads of karma and compassion. But here, in this untouched cradle of the mountains, those words felt less like doctrine and more like a living truth. The Yeti moved with purpose, their massive forms gliding through the valley as if in a sacred dance. Tenzin's pulse quickened, not from fear, but from a dawning realization that he was not merely an observer but a participant in something far greater. The thought sent a rush through him, a surge of exhilaration that made his senses sharpen. What if the Yeti were not just guardians but teachers, their silence a language he had yet to learn? The idea was intoxicating, pulling him deeper into the valley's embrace, and you can almost taste it, can't you? That thrill of standing on the edge of revelation, where every moment pulses with possibility. As he ventured further, the valley revealed its wonders. Icicles hung like chandeliers from overhanging cliffs, catching the moonlight in prisms of color. A frozen stream wound through the snow, its surface gleaming like a mirror to the stars. Tenzin felt as though he had stepped into a mandala, each element perfectly placed, each detail a note in a cosmic symphony. Then he saw it. A stone altar, ancient and weathered, half buried in the snow. Carved into its surface were symbols he recognized from the oldest sutras: wheels of dharma, lotus flowers, and strange, swirling patterns that seemed to pulse with life. His fingers brushed the stone, and a warmth spread through him, as if the altar were alive, whispering secrets of a time when the mountains were young. His heart raced, a flood of dopamine urging him to linger, to decipher the message etched in stone. You're right there with him, aren't you? Feeling the weight of that moment, the irresistible draw of a truth just out of reach. Suddenly, a shadow loomed before him, vast and unmistakable. Tenzin froze, his breath catching as he looked up to meet the gaze of a Yeti. Its eyes, deep as glacier pools, held a wisdom that seemed to pierce his very soul. It stood motionless, its fur shimmering in the moonlight, and yet its presence was a force, a quiet power that made the air hum. Tenzin's fear melted into awe, his mind alight with questions. Was this the guardian the elders spoke of? A spirit of the mountains, or something more? The Yeti raised a hand, not in threat, but in a gesture that felt like an invitation. Tenzin's pulse surged, his body alive with the rush of discovery. He took a step forward, drawn by an instinct older than reason, a need to connect with this being whose silence spoke louder than words. The moment hung like a star in the sky, radiant and eternal, and you can feel its pull, can't you? That magnetic urge to know what happens when two worlds meet. The Yeti turned, moving with a grace that belied its size, and Tenzin followed, his steps light despite the snow. They walked in silence, the valley unfolding around them like a scroll revealing its secrets. The Yeti led him to a cave, its entrance framed by icicles that glowed with an inner light. Inside, the walls were adorned with paintings, scenes of lamas and Yeti standing together, their hands joined in gestures of offering and reverence. Tenzin's heart swelled. a rush of wonder flooding his senses. These were not mere drawings, but a chronicle, a testament to a bond between human and spirit that stretched back through the ages. The Yeti pointed to one image, where a lama knelt before a towering figure, a light radiating between them. Tenzin's mind raced, piecing together the fragments of his teachings. The Yeti were not just protectors but guides, beings who walked the path of enlightenment, their silence a mirror for the soul. The realization hit him like a wave, a euphoric clarity that made him want to laugh and weep at once. You're caught in it now, aren't you? That heady rush of understanding, the need to see where this path leads. As Tenzin studied the paintings, the Yeti watched, its presence a steady anchor. Then it spoke, not in words, but in a low hum that seemed to resonate in Tenzin's chest, a sound that carried images, emotions, truths. He saw flashes of the mountain's birth, of lamas seeking wisdom in the snow, of Yeti standing as sentinels through countless winters. The hum spoke of balance, of the dance between the seen and unseen, of a world where every being played a part in the great wheel of existence. Tenzin's eyes brimmed with tears, not from sadness but from the overwhelming beauty of it all. His body thrummed with energy, each revelation a spark that kept him rooted to the spot. The Yeti's hum faded, but its gaze held him, urging him to carry this truth forward. And here, dear listener, the valley's secrets deepen, pulling you along with Tenzin into a mystery that refuses to let go. Can you resist the call to follow, to discover what final truth awaits in the heart of the Himalayas, the flame of awakening? The cave's glow seemed to pulse in rhythm with Tenzin's heartbeat, its painted walls alive with the stories of ages past, each stroke a whisper from the mountains themselves. The Yeti stood beside him, its presence a quiet anchor, its eyes reflecting a depth that made Tenzin feel both infinitesimally small and boundlessly vast. The hum of its silent voice lingered in his chest, a vibration that carried not just visions but a call, a summons to become more than he was, to weave his life into the eternal tapestry of the Himalayas. His blood sang with purpose, a rush of clarity that made every nerve hum with anticipation. Can you feel it now, that magnetic pull, that irresistible urge to step deeper into the mystery? The cave holds you as it held Tenzin, its secrets unfolding like petals, daring you to stay, to see the truth that lies just beyond the next breath. Tenzin knelt before the paintings, his fingers tracing the faded lines of lamas and Yeti joined in reverence. The images told of a pact, a sacred trust between human and guardian, forged in a time when the boundaries between spirit and flesh were fluid. The Yeti, he realized, were not mere protectors but mirrors, reflecting the potential within every soul to transcend the mundane, to touch the divine. His mind raced, piecing together fragments of his teachings. The Buddha's path was one of awakening, of seeing the world as it truly is. Here, in this valley, that truth felt tangible, as if the mountains themselves were chanting the Dharma. The thought sent a surge through him, a euphoric wave that made his heart pound. He glanced at the Yeti, its gaze steady, and felt a question rise within him. Was he ready to carry this wisdom, to become a bridge between worlds? The idea was intoxicating, a spark that kept him rooted. And you can sense it, can't you? That exhilarating edge where doubt and destiny collide. The Yeti gestured toward the cave's entrance, and Tenzin followed, stepping back into the moonlit valley. The air was alive, shimmering with a light that seemed to dance with his every step. The other Yeti were there, gathered in a circle, their massive forms a silent council under the stars. Tenzin's breath caught, his pulse a drumbeat of awe. They moved as one, their steps a ritual. and at the center of their circle stood a pool of water, its surface still as glass, reflecting the cosmos above. The Yeti beckoned him closer, and as he gazed into the pool, he saw not just stars but visions. His own life, his doubts, his dreams, swirling like leaves in a stream. The water showed him moments of compassion, moments of fear, and a future where he stood among the lamas, his voice carrying the wisdom of the mountains. His body thrummed with energy, a rush of connection that made him feel part of something vast. You're there with him, aren't you? Staring into that pool, feeling the weight of your own reflection, wondering what truths it might reveal. The Yeti's hum returned, softer now, a melody that wove through the valley like a thread of light. It spoke of balance, of the dance between impermanence and eternity, of the courage to walk the path of awakening. Tenzin understood. The Yeti were not gods but guides, their silence a teaching in itself, urging him to listen to the stillness within. He closed his eyes, letting the hum fill him, and saw the world as a mandala, every being, every moment, interconnected in a web of compassion and wisdom. His heart swelled, a flood of joy and purpose that made him want to laugh, to cry, to run through the snow and shout the truth to the stars. The Yeti stepped back, their circle opening, and Tenzin knew this was his moment, to choose, to step fully into the path they had shown him. The anticipation was electric, a dopamine-fueled fire that kept him tethered to the moment, and you can feel its heat, can't you? That burning need to know what choice he makes. Tenzin took a breath, the cold air sharp in his lungs, and stepped forward. He spoke no words, but his heart vowed to carry the valley's truth back to his monastery, to live as a bridge between the seen and unseen, to teach others the wisdom of the Yeti's silence. The guardians watched, their eyes gleaming with approval, and the pool rippled, as if the mountains themselves nodded in agreement. He felt a shift, a lightness, as if the weight of his doubts had dissolved into the snow. The journey back would be long, the path treacherous, but Tenzin was no longer the boy who had left the monastery. He was a flame, kindled by the Himalayas, ready to illuminate the world. The Yeti turned, fading into the shadows, but their presence lingered in his soul, a quiet promise that they would always be near. The valley seemed to sigh, its secrets now shared, and Tenzin began his ascent, his steps sure, his spirit alight. And so, dear listener, the story draws to a close, but its echo remains, a vibration that stirs your own heart. Tenzin's journey is yours too, a call to seek the hidden valleys within, to listen to the silence that speaks of eternity. The Himalayas stand as they always have, their peaks a testament to truths that wait for those brave enough to seek them. Can you resist the pull to look within, to find your own Yeti, your own pool of stars? The mountains are calling, their wisdom a spark that refuses to fade. Let it burn, let it guide you, for the path of awakening is never truly done.